You're watching BCTV. We're all about Branford. You're watching BCTV, Branford Government Television, a service of Branford Community Television. This program is brought to you in part through the support of the town of Branford.
Okay, we're going to get started. Town of Branford Board of Finance regular meeting for October 27th, 2025. First on the agenda is to approve the minutes of the September 29th, 2025 meeting.
I'll move it, Joe.
Second.
Moved by Jeff, seconded by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you.
Aye.
And I will note that Yvette Laurie is out of the state, on family matters, and is on the phone here and will participate verbally.
Thank you, Joe.
Second on the agenda is citizens' communication. If there's anyone in the audience who'd like to address tonight's agenda items, you're welcome to do so. With no takers, I'll go to item number 3, which is to consider and act upon the following proposed resolution. A resolution amending resolution authorizing an appropriation of $600,000 for the Branford High School roof and skylight replacement project and the financing of said appropriation by the issuance of general obligation bonds of the town and the notes in anticipation of such bonds in amount not to exceed $600,000. Therefore, to amend the scope of the project and increase the appropriation and bond authorization therein by an additional $10,900,000 and to recommend the resolution for adoption by the representative town meeting. And before we entertain this, I'd accept a motion to waive reading of the full resolution, if that's
So moved.
appropriate. Been moved by Harry.
I'll second it.
Seconded. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Aye.
Thanks, Yvette. Okay, so the Board of Ed is here. Welcome, Chris, and board members and staff. Would you like to address this capital item, which we did talk a little bit about at the last meeting?
Yes, thank you for including this on the agenda. As we discussed when we were here in September, that we would be presenting this to the board for approval during our regular October meeting, and it subsequently was presented and approved by the Board of Ed. So we have new memos that are updated, and I'll have Blaze just talk through briefly what's included, and then we can entertain any questions.
Thank you. Please.
Sure, yeah, and anybody feel free to interject. So thank you very much. So from the last month's meeting, if you recall, we needed some more time to do some, additional analysis, and we were able to do that. We've also been able to coordinate a little bit further with the folks for school construction grant clarification. So we're sort of strategically, I think, aligning this proposed package to leverage the infrastructure and the mobilization around a public building committee of doing a roof project of that scale and the skylights, to then also tackle some other target critical areas that were identified in the facilities master plan and are sort of also well known, with the goal of maximizing kind of the potential reimbursement for things that would typically be almost too small of a scale to do for what they're worth over the course of a multi-year process and payback period. So we're able to leverage kind of the highest need areas. We've been working really closely with Jim Finch on this whole entire process and kind of how to map this out, and a huge thanks to him and Catherine as usual. The main goal here of this overall package, and the reason it's an interim and the timeline looks the way it does, is we know that we have some elevated pressure on production for the skylight glass. Brendan was told that if we had placed, basically an order in January, we're looking at a July delivery. And so we still need to mobilize the public building committee to get things out to bid before, we can do any of that. And the building committee has to be together to, before you can start the school construction grant process. I will let Brendan kind of talk about any other kind of specifics about some of these other projects, but the main focus would be to target your core life safety and mechanical systems that we know are in a state of basically failure, or were ranked with a 1 or a 2. So in the master plan, that was either very poor or poor. The last piece that you don't see here is just kind of as a reminder for the record. So we had come the prior month. That was for the master plan for the $150,000. And thank you to kind of keep the elementary levels moving. And at the high school, we have kind of this package. And then the final remaining piece that is glaring and missing is, is obviously the cogen and HVAC for the whole entire building. Many of us know that that's also actually in a state of failure right now. But we're doing some additional analysis. So that's going to be part of the fiscal '27 ask. I don't know if, Brendan, you want to add any specifics about what we're
I don't know
kinda
specifics.
targeting?
I think it just targets some critical infrastructure within the high school. Obviously, the roof is well known, but once we get into the roof, you can see here some ceiling replacement. We've had some wet ceiling tiles, so identify some areas of some old and possibly damaged ceiling tiles. Site safety improvements outside, bringing a little bit of ADA compliance to the campus. Improving some of that. Our plumbing and electrical is very outdated. We're actually going through a bit of an energy audit right now, checking out some sub panels and just some of the major breakers in the building to see if sub panels should be added, if we should change out some of our electrical equipment. Same with the plumbing. We have a few areas that we'd like to concentrate with a lot of this, and again, addressing the life safety is a critical component. We've been working closely with the fire department, and we've done a good job to kind of minimize some of the false alarms that we've had in the building, but addressing the life safety would certainly go a long way.
Okay. And the estimate for the roof, that's the architect's estimate of cost?
Yes.
Yeah, and we had it updated with escalation from when we had the analysis done by Antonazzi.
Got it. Okay, questions from the board?
Yeah, Jill, just
Deborah?
curious, maybe you can just refresh my memory, please, where we are in the grant process on this, and how would that offset any of this?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we'll be submitting for these projects, especially for the roof, we'll be submitting a non-priority grant project. You can submit one of those the first 10 days of every month. You can't submit a grant application until you have the full appropriation in hand and you have resolutions, 3 specific resolutions that are adopted by your local legislative body. So for us, that would be the RTM. Those are on the RTM's agendas. They're literally copied and pasted. You have to do a very specific wording. And then you also have to have what those resolutions do is they appoint your building committee. Basically, they authorize your building committee to oversee and manage a project, and they authorize the Board of Education to apply through the superintendent to apply for a school construction grant. And so then, basically, the public building, after we get the appropriation, we'll sort of quickly have to go over to the public building committee, have them sort of start managing the project, and then we'll submit the grant application, get a grant application number before going out to bid, and then go out to bid. And that's sort of where we're at. Branford's reimbursement rate is just about 37%. So on the roof and skylights by right, we would be looking at getting 37% back on that project. HVAC, F-wing, so that's separate from the cogen. We can do that as part of this project. That is also going to be a 37% reimbursement project. There is a chance that a portion of the life safety systems will also be able to be a reimbursement project. And then depending on this, we can do later, so you don't have to submit your grant application up front, and we can do them later. So we would go back to the RTM, and just we'll have the appropriation already, but if we decide that it makes sense to submit a grant application, we'd go back to the RTM and ask them to pass another resolution for a flooring project. You can only do flooring if there's a hazardous material, like asbestos in your tile. And so we don't know to scale, is there enough tile to make sense to go through? I mean, the school construction grant process comes with a cost. It usually takes a professional firm to help you navigate, filing. And then it's a multi-year process because they hold 5% in retainage anyways for audit. And the same thing with plumbing and electrical. That's not a by right like the HVAC and the roof is. But it's if you have like a hazardous material, so let's say there's a bunch of pipes that are still coated in asbestos, and we get in there, and it's to a scale enough where we already have a building committee, so that's kind of where that's why those are sort of a maybe on the school construction grant process. And then we did get confirmation separately from DAS, finally, Department of Administrative Services, that's who oversees the school construction grant program. They confirmed that the cogen replacement is considered a non-priority project, depending on what we do. It's an HVAC and mechanical system replacement, and so that would kind of fall into a non-priority grant application as well. So that was good news.
Thank you.
Please remind us what the range of the cogen project might be.
I think we really have no idea, to be honest. The estimate for the total replacement in the master plan was around the $2.5 million.
We're working with a engineering firm now to kind of identify how we replace. Do we replace in kind? What are our options? So it's kind of tough to say right now exactly what that total.
Their charge for that firm is to present the town and Board of Ed and town with basically, after they're done with the analysis, 3 options. One being in kind, and then the other 2 being whatever they turn out to be the best based on the load. We're also, and Jim's been part of these meetings too, we've been meeting with the Green Bank about solar at the high school and maximizing maybe their capacity to do a solar project there with that roof based on the expiring kind of tax credits that are expiring at the end of the year. And so that's the other piece. The nice piece about potentially going with the Green Bank route is it allows us to get solar while also still replacing and rebuilding all the mechanical, electrical system, power system for the building. And that's sort of where those pieces are at.
Okay, more to come on that. Additional questions from the board on this appropriation?
I got one. So last time we met, I think you had told us that the roof had several layers up there.
Yeah.
So this project will get us down to the original, and we'll have one layer when we're done. Is that kind of?
So there's just different types of roofing systems. So there's 22 different sections of roof that are up there. Most of it is EPDM. There are different types of sections that are up there. But yes, this would be one consistent roofing system.
Yep, one
across-
system, one
across the
age.
different sections.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yep. And then we have kind of I think a strong maintenance plan as far as the skylights go. When we put in the triangular part of the skylights, it also came with, like a power washing schedule and some bait to extend the life of those that we can kind of implement immediately as well. So I think that's.
Some of that was done this summer?
Yes.
The skylight?
Yes, the pyramid portions were done this summer.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, Jamie or Jim, anything to add on this?
No, I think
You're good?
we covered it.
No, the only thing I would say is that it's been good working with the Board of Ed over the years, and, we've found some ways to package this, and this is an example of that. It was important for us to work a little bit early in the process because the town was planning a bond issue, and as part of that process, the rating agencies like us to discuss what kind of our future plans are and what we're looking at. And so I wanted to make sure that these initiatives were at least on paper and discussed with the rating agencies. And so I'm proud to say that, that they were, that's one of the things that they typically cite Branford for, is its debt planning. And they did reaffirm the rating of AAA. So, and as as Deborah, you've asked and Blaze has pointed out, we were very conscious of, the non-priority reimbursement rates too as an opportunity. And, essentially, we're basically going to only borrow the net. So out of the 11 and a half, in round numbers, we're probably looking at, based on what Blaze walked through with you, roughly between, I'd say 8 and 8.5 million, depending on how DAS falls on some of these projects. The other thing I'd point out is that, when you start looking at all these other projects, we wanted to make sure that we had an element of contingency, and that was a topic of discussion throughout the process. And the resolution does allow an allocation of contingency to the various, I think there's 7 projects there. And as Blaze mentioned, the roof already has a contingency built into the 8.8. So we think it's a good opportunity. I think you're sort of now looking at the 2 tracks. I know Joe, you and myself, and I don't see Josh, but those of us who sat in on the facilities committee,
Right.
And the capital plans, we knew that we really had, based on what the Board of Ed looked at, what do we do with the elementary schools? We're going from 3 down to 2 in the plan. And then, what do we do for the high school in between? And I suspect, in the years to come, you're probably looking at a series of these non-priority type applications. So I think, the town is on a track to do that, and you'll probably see more of these in the future, and then coordinating that with the overall capital plan and future budgets. So.
Okay, thanks, Jim, for that recap, and also congratulations to the town and the finance department, and you in particular with the AAA rating. It was a good report and very informational, so thank you. Okay, other questions from the board? If not, are we ready to move on this?
I'll move it.
A second?
Move, second by Deborah. Questions? Yvette, any questions? Any discussion?
No, sir.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think we're
Yep,
the next
let's
item.
see, what else do we have here? Item number 4 is to consider and if appropriate, approve a transfer request from the superintendent of schools to reappropriate open capital balances as follows. From system-wide doors, $117, JBS architectural study, $28,305, system-wide boiler replacements, $20,990, system-wide door replacements, $9,150, Board of Ed security, $30, building fire code compliance, $22.57, interior painting at JBS, $12,750, office administration technology, $23, insurance, Indian Neck School, boiler replacement, $22,610, 21st Century AV System and School Tech, $101, facilities master plan, $5,000, facilities equipment, $909, system-wide door replacement, $25,000, furniture, $434, technology equipment, $883, for a total of $128,558, and reappropriated to building fire code compliance, $87,306, security cameras and equipment, $32,327, and system-wide roofing, $8,925, for a total of $128,558. Okay.
That did a really good job summarizing this one.
Yep.
I do want to say thank you to Brendan for really executing a significant amount of capital projects over this past summer especially. During my tenure, this is the best we've gotten at moving through our capital to the point where we're asking to move $23 so we can continue to
Yeah, I
do
see
some
that,
other
right off the
projects.
general ledger. That's good.
And as you mentioned, you can see where the money is going is primarily for life safety purposes. And we just want to put that money to good use. So Blaze, if you have anything to add, please.
No, I think it it aligns with the goals of the master plan. Here, we're targeting sort of, again, it's basic, just life safety system and most critical need. And operationally, as you can see, there's just sort of, we're going back multiple years' worth of open capital accounts to kind of just reorganize it in a way that we can execute even easier. And it's pretty much, we already sort of know exactly what's needed for these 3 buckets based on the walkthrough audits that Brendan's team has done. And so this will just help us sort of more efficiently use open capital.
That's good.
Feel free, Brendan, to add.
Thanks for cleaning it up and moving forward. Questions from the board on this?
I'll move it, Joe.
Moved by Jeff,
Second.
second by Harry. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Did that? Okay, folks.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Good
Thank
luck.
you. As usual, big thanks to Jim, too, is very critical in all of this, so couldn't do it without him.
Thank you.
Thanks, Blaise.
Thank you.
Next up is item number 5, to consider if appropriate approve a transfer request of the first selectman on behalf of the East Shore Health District Department for fiscal 26 as follows. From contingency, $17,875 into environmental testing, $17,875. Jim, what's the contingency balance?
Yeah, the 25-26 contingency after this item is $367,178.
Okay. Jamie?
Yeah, so I believe the board had in the packet a letter and a memo from the executive director from East Shore District Health Department requesting these dollars. The board may recall we did support their efforts a couple of years ago. I think we utilized some ARPA dollars maybe at that point, right, Jim? And what that did was to help fund their study to improve the water quality, primarily down the Short Beach area. That has high E. coli content, bacteria, a lot of always ranks low. With this advanced testing, what they have done is not only collected samples, but once the samples come back that they indicate that there's poor water quality, they're sending these to a private lab to actually identify the source of the contaminant. So it's either avian, human, or dog, typically, and that's what they've found. From that effort, they were then underdid a public campaign in terms of getting the residents to be more mindful of how they dispose of dog waste. We've done some, the town's actually supported with some collections that go on in that area to all avoid it going into it, which they've seen an increase in the water quality. They still have a couple of hot spots, the Granite Bay and Pentecost outflow, as well as they want to identify some issues that are happening along the Farm River. That's also an effort not only to clean the water quality, but I think there's shellfish beds along this area as well. They have samples that are waiting in storage. They were going to utilize some funding that is a pass-through from federal funds through the state to the health district. However, those funds were recently cut. As I said, the executive director, Mike Pascasulo, asked if the town will contribute to get that testing completed so they can then, therefore, identify the source of the contaminants.
And other towns are contributing to this as well?
Yeah, he's going to approach, I don't know if he's received a commitment. I think there's from East Haven and North Branford to contribute as well for their portion, particularly for the Farm River section.
And did they contribute to the first phase?
I think East Haven may. I'm actually, maybe you're right, Jim. Maybe both towns did.
Well, I'm not sure about North Branford. East Haven definitely.
East Haven did, yes, for the Farm River section. Majority of the testing was in that first round was really happening in the Short Beach area.
Got it.
And I think he provided a breakdown of, yes, about, out of the 17,873, 12,868.74 will be for the Short Beach area, 5,000, just over $5,000 will be for the Farm River samples.
Questions from the board?
Move it, Joe.
Moved by Jeff,
I'll second.
I'll second it.
seconded by Yvette. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, Jamie. Let's see, where am I here? Okay. Very good. All in favor, did I say?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item number 6 on the agenda, Jamie, are we going to defer on that? Or you want me to,
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to just address the board.
Okay, so- that's fine. So item number 6 is to consider and if appropriate, recommend approval to the Board of Selectmen regarding an employment agreement between the town of Branford and Catherine LaBanca for the position of finance director.
So, thanks, Joe. So at this time, I just wanted to inform the board that Catherine LaBanca, I have had discussions with her. As we know, Jim will be leaving this winter. We started looking, developing a transition plan. I feel after my 12 years of working with the finance department and directly with Catherine in many different capacities, or different projects, different budgeting issues, I feel confident she can assume the role as finance director. She's interested in continuing to serve the town. She's been very committed over this time. I believe, not only within the department, she's also worked well with other departments, over the years, and Board of Education, I believe, Blaze, and acknowledged Catherine's contributions in their department as well. So Catherine has accepted. At this time, we're not seeking an employment contract for the position. I just wanted to use this opportunity right now. I had put it on as a placeholder, but in conversation with Catherine over the weekend, we agreed not to move forward with that at this point. However, I do want to inform the board that, as I said, she will be the next finance director. And we will begin really immediately with the transition plan. And what does that transition plan look like? I think we all recognize that the finance department and what it's involved in, and you've heard from Jim and over the years, how the audit environment has become increasingly burdensome in many aspects. Just even the budgeting, a lot of the capital planning that we do here, there's a lot that happens, and that department is critical to the operations of the town, and I say the town as a whole, including the Board of Education. Therefore, we cannot have a period of vacancy and in that department. So, like I said, Catherine will assume the role of finance director. There will be an overlap with Catherine and Jim. Jim staying on while we look for a assistant finance director. That position will need to be posted, interviewed, and obviously, and hopefully, see what is out in the market. And we hope to bring somebody on. As soon as possible, but there still is a process there. Over the last couple budget cycles, and I know Jim had mentioned it this last budget with adoption, when he was informing the board of what was included in contingency. He had plugged some dollars in there for another position within the finance department. That is something that I think he has recognized, and I agree. The department, definitely needs another position in there. So we plugged some dollars in there. I've asked Catherine and Jim to, where they have some ideas and with the job description, and they've been jotting things down into a working form, but to solidify that that job description. So therefore, once we bring on the assistant, we can then immediately start going into looking and funding and posting and filling that new position, hopefully. So just wanted to update the board as far as the plan, the transition, with, in mind that, unfortunately, we know Jim is is going to be leaving. He's been great for the town, but he's been committed to the town for 28 years and will continue to do so. But I think he's shared with the body that he didn't expect to be here next budget. So budget hearings, which, as you know, is March. So I think we have until February. But that's the thing. Okay.
Well, thank you for the update, and congratulations to Catherine, and I guess congratulations to Jim for a good successor, finding a good successor. And questions from the board on this update? Or Jim, you want to provide more updates?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's hard to follow that, right? But no, I mean, obviously, I think she's a worthy successor. She works very, very hard. She's dedicated to the town, and I think she wants to finish her career here, which I think is important. Jamie's talked about the demands on the office. Adding another staff person in a more of a professional type of setting also gives us a little bit more redundancy, in terms of when you do have turnover. And I think that one of the selling points that Branford can make, I mean, there's many, but I think one thing that I think if I was a candidate for assistant finance director, I might want to know is, well, what did the last assistant finance director do? And it kind of shows that the town, as we have in many other positions, excuse me, has promoted from within, and I think that's a selling point, and it also talks to the stability of the town. So I think that's also a selling point as well. So,
Very good. Absolutely, Jim. Thank you for those comments. Okay. We'll move on to item number 7, and the board is going to go into executive session, if we so vote, executive session for discussion of potential real estate acquisition pursuant to General Statutes 1-200, 6D, and also with regards to any public discussion may impact the purchase or negotiation of any potential processes or property.
Joe, just maybe Jim and I will join the board in executive session.
That'd be good. Is there a vote from the board to move into executive session?
I'll move it.
Moved by Jeff.
Second.
Second by Harry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you, folks. We'll reconvene in some time after executive session, within executive session. And with no further business to come before the board, item number 8 is adjournment. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
This program was brought to you in part through the support of the Town of Branford. Watch town meetings and other videos on demand at BranfordTV.org.